Hey, how you guys doing? Ibeck Lex. Yeah, so the T49. Now I named this one the heavy hitter or just heavy hitter, and it's kind of because like I've been experimenting with high explosive rounds, and this tank is what got me thinking about high explosives, and that's all that it really uses. It does have a heat round, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that this gun is more like an artillery than it is like an actual cannon on a tank, and it's really inaccurate. I think it's like .40, but the amount of damage that it could possibly do is 1138. Now, one of the things I notice about this is that it shoots at a, I'm gonna say it like a almost level. Like it goes up and down, but it's not even near as much as like an IS or an ISU 152. It really has like a high velocity 152 millimeter, which kind of takes that thump out of it. But on average, I'm doing about 300 damage with a standard shell. If I can get a side shot on a tier 9 or maybe a lightly armored tier 10, or even get behind him with a heat round, I can probably do 800 sometimes, because you have to be able to penetrate it. But I will say this is really good for people that are hull down. And that's actually one of the things I've been using this for, is that 152 millimeter gun is great for that. And of course, this tank's maneuverability and speed, makes it a great scout, obviously, but it has poor camouflage rating. So I had to sacrifice a bunch of things to kind of figure out which works best for me with this tank. And getting detected is actually pretty good, because people usually go back crap crazy for you. And so as long as you poke out every once in a while, they'll all turn their turrets, which gives everybody on the team, time. So you can use this kind of like to troll or tease people. I missed twice here in the beginning of this match, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, on average, when I do hit people, I usually, break a track and also bust a module. Just going to tell you that right now. I don't know what that guy was doing, seriously. That is the worst play to waste. That is the worst way to play a scout, is to go zooming by everybody to see where they all are. It's like, it's nice to know that they all went towards the track, but they're gonna disappear in a second. Everybody's gonna forget. Now me, I've got 7 spotted over here, and now I have 8. And you'll see here, like when I fire at this guy, I'm gonna do damage, and I'm also gonna get a module broken. So it's why I got my mark of excellence on this. I got it really quick too. Armor on this tank, I'd go over it with you, but it's a light tank. You're not going to block anything. High explosives, it's right in the realm where if you're shooting 122 at it, you're probably better off just firing a standard shell than you are a high explosive, unless you want to save money, or if you want to track it, which I would recommend using high explosives to track this. This tank's actually pretty redundant, it's got some fail safes against, high explosive. I've been hit numerous times with high explosives, and they never do the max damage. Now, I will say I have been one-shotted by high explosives before, just like I've done it before with this particular one. But you'll see here, that's like my second module I broke with 2 shots that landed, which, brings me up on the boards really high up really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I got my mark of excellence on the KV1 super quick using the derp cannon, even though I used it mainly, like I said, like artillery. But if I go to this tank, let's see, T49, it's on the top of my list, which is kind of crazy if you think about that. 92 battles it took me. And I've had the mark of excellence for probably 10 of those, so I probably only did 80 battles with this. As soon as I got the derp cannon, I started breaking a lot of modules. So I was going to go ahead and tell you that damage standings go up a lot higher if you're tracking people, you're shooting them in their like viewports, or breaking their turret, or just using, when you can, using high explosive rounds. I'll usually load like 3 and try to use them in each game, and it'll actually, increase it. So I've been kind of learning the places that scouts go. There's a couple places on some maps where I'm not even going to talk about, where you can get like I've been in a room where I got detected and I couldn't figure out how or why, And you think, oh, it's binoculars and stuff, but it's actually perks. You know, perks plus binoculars. I found out too something about perks, which I'm probably going to add into an updated video on perks, because you guys do know I'm learning. You know, I'm learning every day new stuff. So camouflage rating's based on how tall a vehicle is, and the Waffenträger E100 is actually one of the tallest tanks in the game, which makes it have the worst camouflage rating. I was gonna go ahead and say too that it is actually, what is it? It's not a real tank. If you guys aren't aware of that, you know. So I was talking about it in a couple videos ago where I heard they were gonna take the Waffenträger E100 out of the game because it's not a real tank. It was never a real tank. If you look at it, it's not based on any existing tank. It's not like, you know, now the Stapler or the Grilly 15, which is what they were going to replace it with, you know, was basically more like a Borsig, except for, you know, the gun sat in the very back of it, and it really isn't as good. And the camouflage rating, because it has such a tall cannon, it's about the same. So the idea here is that they're probably going to keep it in, and I thought to myself, if they're going to keep that tank in, they should just make it so, I mean, if we're going to go fiction, they should just make it so we could use autoloaders on whatever we want to. I mean, like, we could just, at tier 10, just load in an autoloader on whatever, you know, and then depending on the size of the turret, you know, obviously nerf the reload, but I think, you know, if that thing can get, you know, a 5-round autoloader, I think every tank should get one at tier 10 or tier 9, you know, because, you know, it's just my personal opinion. So like I said, you know, using this thing like artillery, you're getting up on the damage standings, it really does make a huge difference. So go for the kills, you know, but I'd say if you track them and then kill them, you're going to go up in the damage standings. If you can track them, kill them, and also break some kind of a module, which there's a perk that will help you. It's called Deadeye. That's actually pretty good because it increases your chances of breaking modules, which I don't have on this, but I'm actually pretty happy with this tank though. I got a real long way to go though. I'm going to go ahead and say that I wish I would have went the other route, because there's two ways you can go to get the tank that I want to get, which is the T57 Heavy is what I want to get. So look at that, 482. It has to be a side shot though, you know, and even on a side, as you've seen there, it's not like I did 1100. I've actually done a 900 damage shot to a Batchilian, or the Batchat, and I just got up right next to him, shot him on the side with a heat round of all things, and it did, you know, 800 to him, almost 900. But yeah, the crew that I have in this, I'm training to do, you know, to be in the T54E1, and I have another crew that basically just has Sixth Sense, Brothers in Arms, Mentor, and then I'm working on camouflage as well that I'm just going to throw on this, which seems to work pretty well with it. But other than that, you can see here, Scout Metal, wasn't even trying for it, and I did 1100 damage to tier 10s. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment, like, and subscribe, and have a good one. Later.